I'm outside of Trinity Church, where a memorial was held earlier today for 7 people who recently died while living on the streets. Many of them not known by name, listed as John or Jane Doe. It's a growing list and a growing problem, according to homeless advocate Kathy Crow, who's calling on the mayor to call a state of emergency.
We have this today, which is the monthly homeless memorial, and we do see people dying as a result of the weather year long, actually.
Yesterday, the first taste of cold weather. It came earlier than usual. The city opened up a warming center at Metro Hall with 50 beds.
We need 2,000 real shelter beds to open, and so we need that this winter. We need more than one warming center at Metro Hall for the entire city. We need more sites. We need an emergency declared.
The city says there are currently 7,100 spaces across Toronto, spread over different types of services like shelters, respites, and drop-ins. Is funding a big issue? Because, for example, again, last night was the first blast of winter, 1 warming center open, better than 0, but could there not have been 2 or 3 opened up?
We only have the 1 warming center when an extreme cold weather alert is called. It comes down to funding, yes, shelters, but ultimately housing and having long-term, permanent housing for people.
A long-term plan which won't help people living on the streets right now. Pastor Doug Johnson Hatlam, who has been doing outreach for years in Toronto, went undercover as a person living on the streets and filmed staff at the city shelter's referral office on Peter Street last week.
We're at capacity at the moment, sir.
So what do I do? I can't even stay in here?
No. So until we find a space for someone, we only have 50 people. We're only allowed 50 people in the building at a time.
I'm making videos to prove a point that people are turned away from the shelter system regularly in the city of Toronto. I wasn't the only one at the door there. There were, at times, I went 3 times over the course of the evening, up to half a dozen people similarly trying to get in and find a shelter space or a respite center or have the cold spot, anything.
Ross responded to the video saying posing as a homeless person has the consequence of potentially denying someone who is truly homeless the services they need. In regards to yesterday's occupancy rates during the snowstorm, the City of Toronto website shows a total occupancy rate of 94%.
That's when they do the bed count at 2 in the morning. And the other stats are 97, 98, 99%. They're just averaging that out, including the motel rooms that they use. So they know that's wrong.
Ross says the issue of people living on the streets is a challenge, but the city is working on it.
There's space opening up at Yonge and Finch for 200 single people who are new Canadians that's going to free up beds in the downtown, for example, and elsewhere across the city.
The city says there are 900 more shelter spaces this year compared to last year and 4,000 more compared to 4 years ago. Maleeha Sheikh, City News, right outside of Trinity Church.